What's up everyone, it's United Weather here, and in today's video we're going to be giving you guys an update on Hurricane Francine, as well as the impacts it already is and will continue to bring to Louisiana through the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow morning. So looking at the satellite imagery here of Francine, you can see especially on the northern side of the storm, that kind of eastward motion with the convection there. That is because of the wind shear, which we talked about in the last video. There is a lot of wind shear, especially further inland, that's kind of ripping the storm apart up there, and that's giving it this kind of ragged look on satellite imagery. But despite that, it is still right now a strong Category 1 hurricane and is expected to make landfall as Category 1 just off to the southwest of New Orleans sometime this evening. I'm looking at the latest outlook now from the National Hurricane Center. This is as of 11 a.m. Eastern time today. You can see it is a 90-mile-per-hour hurricane right now, and it is expected to continue to move off slowly to the northeast, eventually making landfall sometime this evening. Again, we do have hurricane warnings up for pretty much the entire eastern half of the Louisiana coast, a hurricane watch up for areas like New Orleans. We also have a tropical storm warning up for New Orleans right now for pretty much the entire Louisiana coast, the entire Mississippi coast, and even western portions of the Alabama coast. So taking a look at our forecast models here, this is the GFS model, and as you can see right now, it is a 977 millibar hurricane, and it does eventually make landfall here. This would be right around Wednesday evening, 5 maybe 6 p.m. in the evening, as a 976 millibar hurricane. So not much strengthening is expected over the next few hours before it makes landfall, maybe a little bit, but it is expected to remain around 90 miles an hour. So those are probably the highest sustained winds you're going to be seeing from this, per the National Hurricane Center cone, and as per the latest forecast model here, you can see it's just off to the southwest of New Orleans. So if you were anywhere in this little area here by the center of low pressure here, that is where you can be expecting your worst conditions. And we continue to move forward here. You can see it does weaken pretty quickly as it moves off to the northeast through tonight and into Thursday morning. Early Thursday morning, it's already down to 990 millibars. Of course, there will still be some strong winds with this, but nothing too crazy. The main threat further inland is really just going to be that heavy rain, maybe a little bit of flooding, but winds hopefully should not be that big of a problem, especially with that wind shear we have further inland that should rip this thing apart pretty quickly. Now, in terms of our rainfall still to come here on the GFS model, you can see we have this kind of swath here of looks to be close to 10, maybe even 11 inches of rain here right through the central Louisiana coast. So flooding and storm surge is definitely going to be a big problem. So you definitely want to watch out for that, on top of the strong wind gusts up to 90-mile-an-hour winds. And further inland, you can see when you get up here, 8, maybe 9 inches of rain in some spots as the core of the storm moves to the northeast over the next day. You can see the rain all the way extending here into the Florida Panhandle. You guys, maybe those feeder bands might bring a tornado or two to the Florida Panhandle. There also is a risk for that, which we'll be taking a look at in a second from the Storm Prediction Center. But in general, 4 to 6 inches of rain I think is safe for most people here. So looking at the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, this is for today. And as you can see, we do have a slight risk here, and this is mainly driven from the chance of tornadoes. And you do notice that it's far off to the east of where the core of the storm is making landfall, and that is going to be those feeder bands that can bring that rotation, and even some isolated tropical supercells as it comes on shore. It is a 5% chance of a tornado, so nothing too crazy, but definitely a chance for maybe a water spout. And if you live closer to the coast, maybe one of those water spouts could come on shore, and we could see a brief spin up. And even as you move ahead to tomorrow here, you can see it moves further inland. We have that 5% chance of a tornado risk, as well as a pretty big area of a 2% chance of a tornado risk. So today and tomorrow are definitely going to bring a pretty good chance for a spin up or two in this area. Now, in terms of the future of this storm, if we move ahead a little bit here, this is going to be Friday. You can see it pretty much dies down throughout the day on Thursday. And if we move forward a little bit here, you can see this energy re-emerging off the East Coast, off of the South Carolina coast here. And this is something we're going to have to watch for, possibly some redevelopment. So this is the remaining energy from Francine, and it's going to get kicked out into the Atlantic Ocean. And what could happen here is it could kind of sit off the coast for a few days and develop into possibly another tropical system here. So we could be seeing another tropical storm, and there is an area of interest there marked by the National Hurricane Center right now. They are watching for some development here off the coast as Francine kind of dies down and reemerges here off of South Carolina. And if we move forward here, you can see it gets all the way down to 995 millibars before eventually curving back into South Carolina and North Carolina as a weak tropical storm. This is a pretty tricky forecast here. There are some models which are showing it kind of lingering in the ocean a little bit more and letting it get further north towards, areas like Virginia, North Carolina, Delaware, and maybe even becoming a stronger storm than this. So it is a pretty delicate forecast right now. We're not going to have a better idea until Francine is pretty much out of the way and this energy starts to reemerge. But definitely, if you were anywhere along the southeastern coast, I'd say really anywhere along the eastern coast, up from Georgia to the north, we definitely want to be watching this as we go into the weekend and early next week, because there is definitely a chance you could see maybe another tropical system develop from this. So with that being said, that is pretty much going to be it for today's video. And other than Francine, the weather looks to be pretty boring for the next few days, with the exception of maybe a severe weather event next week, but we'll talk about that in another video later in the week, so definitely check back for that. I will also be posting updates on what might become another tropical storm here off the eastern coast that we just talked about, so definitely check back for updates on that. And if you guys did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. It really does help get this forecast out to more people, and it also motivates you to make more videos for you guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and peace out.